Good evening. My name is Jelani Barr, and I am seeking the Democratic nomination for Lieutenant Governor this year here in Mississippi. I've come to you tonight to bring you a video of a recent traffic stop in which I was the subject of. In this video, you will see firsthand, you will witness firsthand police brutality, ignorance of the law by law enforcement, and abuse of power, and just plain old out corruption, basically. Now, to give you a little context on the video, I wasn't able to record the entire exchange from beginning to end. So what I would do here now is give you an introduction to lead you into the video footage that I do have about the exchange between me and the officer, from the moment in which I pulled over to stop until the video begins, and then I can color commentate for you and further explain what was going on. Now, although I wasn't able to record this entire exchange, the body cam, the body mic, and the dash cam of the officer will corroborate my introduction, although it's not seen now. Once those are released, you will see that it corroborates my introduction. So, here goes. On Monday, the 16th of March, I was maybe not even a few feet out of entering the city limits of Chula, Mississippi. Before I could enter the city limits, as I was going, I passed a state trooper who was coming the opposite way. As I passed the state trooper, I noticed he turned his sirens on, he turned his lights on, which means that I took it that he was hailing me. So when I saw this, I pulled over to the next safest spot that I could find, which was a Dollar General parking lot, which was close by from the spot in which he held me with his lights. Once I pulled over into the Dollar General, I took out my license and registration and lowered my window to a safe distance in preparation for the officer when he came to the car. So when the officer did finally pull up, as soon as he pulled up and stopped his car, he immediately jumped out of his car and ran to the vehicle in which I was in, and demanded, first thing he demanded or said was that I let the window down more. Now, mind you, you only have to let your window down far enough for an officer to look into the vehicle and to get a smell of the vehicle, whether it's to ascertain what is going on in the vehicle or to smell to see if there are any drugs or alcohol involved. And also so that you and the officer can have an uninhibited or unencumbered communication, so that everyone can understand each other and everything can be clear. So I lowered my window to that safe distance as required by me to do by state law. So when he came to the vehicle, the first thing he said was to lower the window down more, in which I told him I would not do, and that the window was at the correct distance, down the correct distance, in order for us to do the business in which we needed to do. Once I denied to let the window down any further, I gave him my license, registration, and proof of insurance, as I'm required to do. Once I gave the officer that information, he then proceeded to grab the doorknob and demand that I get out of the vehicle. I then asked the officer, had he established any probable cause? Because according to the 4th Amendment of the Constitution, which is a search and seizure amendment, in order for any officer to seize you or to search your personal property or private property, which a car is your private domain when you're inside of it, they need to show probable cause. And what probable cause is a reasonable idea that through the search and seizure, that the officer has to have a reasonable idea or opinion that through the search and seizure that they will find evidence of an illegal activity taking place. That's probable cause. So upon asking him if he had established any probable cause, I did not get an answer, and he continued to demand that I open the door and get out, at which time I told him I would not. I did not feel safe because of his aggressive nature and the fact that he did not follow procedure by taking my license once given to him, taking my information, going and running my license and checking and making sure everything was fine and okay. He did not follow that procedure, so then I felt in danger because I did not know his intent. So after denying the officer access to the vehicle, he then went back to his vehicle. And this is where the video begins, which is after he has already come to my vehicle once for the initial interaction, the initial meeting. And the video, I was able to start recording after he left and went back to his vehicle. And this is where the video begins.
Vehicle with no probable cause.
All right. So what we have here again, as I stated in the, as I stated earlier in my introduction, that the video picks up once the officer has already come to the car, made initial contact.
And he pulled at our door handle.
And he went back to his vehicle, not to run my driver's license, not to check insurance or anything, but to go make phone calls. So if you're watching the video here, you see him back there, he looks like he's on his cell phone. So he's on his cell phone because he's making phone calls. And if you see that piece of paper, just go down the windshield, the back of the windshield, those are the insurance and registration papers in which I gave him. He never took those papers back to the car, and probably my license too. That's all the information I just gave him. He never took it back to the car to do, or to follow procedure, which is to run my license and to check all the data and make sure that everything is correct. That was not a part of his plan at all. For one, because he was so angry that I did not lower the window to his specifications, that the first thing he went to go do is to call for backup or to call someone to get on the phone, but not to follow procedure as he is supposed to do, run my driver's license, check the insurance, and all those type of things. So that's what you just saw go down the back window. All right.
Officer here.
Now we have
asking me to step out of my vehicle with no probable cause.
Also, that video footage you just saw was from someone else's camera. So now it picks up immediately after that person started recording, and now this is my video footage from my camera.
And he pulled it out.
If you can see the window there, you can see the depth in which the window was not yet, was about to come up. You'll be able to see how far the window was actually down. It was down to a distance to where the officer could smell, he could look into the vehicle, he could do whatever he needed to do to ascertain whatever it is he wanted to ascertain. So at this point, I'm basically we're just sitting and waiting, waiting on him to, I guess, call his backup or get his backup there or do whatever he's doing. But he's not following procedure. He's not checking my license. He's not checking my insurance. That's the officer there. Again, as you see, he's not checking driver's license, not doing anything. He's only on the phone. And
yeah, I got it.
So we're just sitting waiting at this point.
Turn it on.
Now, mind you, like I said, at this point, I had already given him my ID, my driver's license, had already given him my proof of insurance and the registration to the car. So I had followed all the policy and procedure that was required by me as a person who is the subject of a traffic stop. I've done everything that I was required to do. Beyond that, I was required to do nothing else. Nothing else at all.
This is them there, the officers. They pulled at my door without asking.
I think by now his backup has arrived. At which time he's about to come back to the vehicle. And when he comes back to the vehicle, this will be his first time telling me about the failure to comply law. What failure to comply laws, what the statute states is that the only way you can be charged with failure to comply is if there is a breach of peace, or if there was a cause of breach of peace. If not that, then they cannot charge you with failure to comply. So here he comes.
I don't have to, sir. You are being recorded. State law does not require me to step out the vehicle, sir.
As you see, the window was down to a
I do
distance
not have
far
to.
enough for him to do whatever he
You
needs
can't
to.
smell right here. This is state law. This is all being recorded.
What's going on?
This is all being recorded.
All right, so now he has threatened me with an arrest.
You are being
That's
recorded,
the
so
other
I need your
officer.
badge number and name.
See, I did the same
I
for
need your
him.
badge number and name.
And you see how quickly he turned away. And
You
if
all
you
have
can
no
read
reason for me to
anything
step
about
out of the
facial
car. You have
expression,
no
you can
reason
see
to
that
search
he
my
wanted
car.
to have nothing to do with this. Also
I
did
need
the
your
same
name and
thing
badge
for
number
him,
right
let the window
now.
down to a safe distance, as for him to
I need your name and
ascertain
badge number
anything
right
that he
now.
needed to do.
I'm not going to jail.
So as you can see, they were not interested in ticketing me for the traffic violation in which he says he pulled me over for.
Well, you just told me to step out.
Go ahead, turn around. Go ahead, turn around. Go ahead, turn around. Turn around.
Stop! No! Sir, what is going on? Why did you stop us? Why did you stop us?
It's speeding. It's okay.
It's all recorded, man. Mine recorded too.
But what's your name? What? I mean, we were asking you, sir, why did you pull us over? You never told us why. No, you didn't. No, you did not, sir.
Ma'am, I want you to be quiet.
You broke his.
I want you to be quiet. Don't you say anything else.
As long as it's all recorded.
He didn't tell us why. He never told us why.
He pulled me over for speeding, which is something that he never said beforehand. He never mentioned speeding. And as I said, this is not the full video, but once his body mic and his dash camera is released, you will see that it corroborates my side of the story. And as you can see the aggression he has towards a woman, maybe he has issues with women.
It's my car.
I've never seen such aggression towards a female, a helpless, unarmed female
What is going
who is
on?
clearly in some type of emotional distress, seeing as how this is something that she's never experienced before. So just to reiterate, the failure to comply law, as I was saying earlier, failure to comply law states that you must be causing a breach of peace, or you must be doing something that will cause a breach of peace, or some way inadvertently or indirectly you're breaching the peace, in which, of course, me sitting in my car not wanting to be legally searched is not a breach of peace. So he incorrectly applied the statute to that situation, which was wrong.
Sir.
And as you can see, they're very non-cooperative. He's very aggressive.
I wear a body
Just
mic
listen to his
and my
explanation.
camera's rolling. I stopped you guys for speeding. This is for he let his window down. I said I need to smell inside your bag. He told me what I could not do and what he wasn't gonna do and what I couldn't do. That's why he's out of the car, for being a smart.
But you just threw him in the
Now, as you can see, he's angry. Being smart is not a criminal offense, and is most definitely not probable cause to search someone's vehicle, and most definitely not a breach of peace. Being smart.
Where
So
are
he
you
just
taking
stated
him?
that me being
Where
smart
are you
was the
taking him?
reason why he arrested me, or the reason why he just took me into custody just then, because I was being smart. So I guess being smart has now become a criminal offense in Mississippi. So now what you're about to see is the second officer is about to come to the car and give her the explanation, well, one of the explanations to why they're about to tow her car. Our car is about to be towed. The car is not mine. I'm not the owner of the car. She is the owner of the car, and she has a valid driver's license. State law also says that unless drugs or alcohol are involved, if a valid licensed driver is there to remove the car, then they have no right to tow it. And especially if that car doesn't belong to the person in question. The person in question or the person arrested does not own that car, then law enforcement has no right to tow a vehicle or remove it from the premises without the owner's permission.
Am I arrested too?
No, ma'am. I'm returning vehicles. I'm totally vehicles.
Can I not drive my own? It's my car. Can I ask him because it is my car and he was driving?
Yeah, I would have complied with it, maybe. That could have happened.
But sir, I promise you, he never. Can I turn my car off at least now?
Leave it on. I need to know.
He also tells her to start recording, which is a violation of her civil rights. She has the right to record any transaction with any type of public official. But as you can see, this officer does not know what he's doing. He is a Mississippi Highway Patrol officer, and he does not know why the car is being towed. He refers to the senior officer to ask why. So that goes to show a lack of just knowing your job and what's going on. And he also says the reason why they're towing the car is for my failure to comply, which again is illegal in every sense of the word.
Yes.
And see, now he's searching the vehicle. Again, without establishing probable cause, they cannot search the vehicle.
So I have to stop recording? I'm asking a question, sir. It's not meant to be disrespectful. I've never been stopped. I've never gone through this before.
No probable cause has been established. Law enforcement cannot search your vehicle at all, period. Now, it wasn't said in this video, but what I have learned since this incident is that the Mississippi Highway Patrol spokesperson called the Jackson news station and stated to them that the reason why
he didn't want to put your car in this situation, you and your car in this situation. I stopped you guys from speeding. I told him why. I want him to let the window down or the door so I can smell inside the vehicle, and he didn't want to do it, man. So that's why you're in this situation.
May I ask more questions, please? Sir, you really didn't say that you stopped for speeding. You just asked for license and registration. But I have a question. Yes, sir.
Everything between you and I, everything's being out here recorded. I know what I said, okay? This is a body mic. I'm standing right up here when I'm talking. I know what I'm saying, okay? I'm covered.
They said the reason in which the officer searched the car and did what he did was because I was a rapper. And rappers are known to have drugs, alcohol, and weapons on them. So this was the reason in which the Mississippi Highway Patrol gave to the WAPT news station for the search. The reason why they searched is because he knew me and he knew that I was a rapper. And that rappers are known to have alcohol, drugs, and weapons. This is a classic case of profiling, which the Mississippi State Highway Patrol just admitted that the only reason they searched my vehicle was because they profiled me. And profiled me wrongly at that. Again, I am not a rapper. Never have been a rapper. There is no footage ever recorded in the history of mankind of me rapping. And if someone can find it, please show me. I would love to see it. That would be a sight to see. A guy like me rapping. So as you can see, they're continually searching the car. The officer is continuing to be aggressive again towards a female, which only just begs the question: does he have an issue with women? Does he have a problem with women? Does he like to assert his control over women? As you see, the other officer is nowhere near or nowhere at all at the same level of anger and aggression in which that officer is, which just goes to further prove the fact that this was something personal within this officer, something going on within him to make him do that. And while I was in the car, as I was being detained, you know, I inquired about his personal life. Was there something there which caused all this anger? Maybe, you know, erectile problems, maybe genital problems, or maybe he's having problems with his wife at home. Maybe she's not faithful to him because he works all the time. I questioned him about all of that to, you know, as to ascertain what would cause this anger and why the other officer would not be as angry as he is. usually when people, and psychologists can tell you this, usually when people are that angry, there's some problems going on at home. And with most men, older men, law enforcement, it usually have to do with dysfunction of, genitalia, or dysfunction of a marriage, or, something of that sort. Not a psychologist by any means, but just going off of, their facts and their studies and statistics.
There's a button on the side door right there, and it's also
This is, again, they're constantly illegally searching the car.
It's on the control panel. I can show it to you.
The officer, Chris Simmons, never Mirandized me. He never read me my rights. And while I was in the car, he demanded that I shut up. In which I reminded him that, you haven't Mirandized me, but, I do have the right to remain silent, which means that I do not have to. And so upon telling him that, he insisted that if I kept talking, for every statement I made, that he would charge me with failure to comply every time I said something. To which I invited him to do so. I even begged him to do so. I would have wanted him to violate my rights and such. And again, you see he is aggressive. The other officer is not aggressive. Again, exhibiting some problems he some problem that he has, either with women or whatever. I just cannot reiterate that anymore. I've never seen a man talk to a woman in such a way, unless there is some type of resentment or some type of control there. But going back to the issue, as you see here, this is just a short video of him searching the trunk, which was locked. So they opened the locked trunk. So the video is about to end here in just a second, which it just did. So just to kind of cap this off, as I was saying, the officer threatened to charge me multiple times with failure to comply because I would not shut up, as he said. He also told me that by the time that he was finished booking me, that I would regret ever not doing what he said. Also, once we arrived at the jail where I was booked, he refused to complete his paperwork in order for me to have bond. He said that he would turn his paperwork in on the next day in order for me to be held there with no bond and no charges, because they cannot complete the bonding process or even the charging process without an officer's affidavit or a statement or incident report of what went on. The officer also proceeded to let me know that he would do everything in his power to keep me exactly where I was. And it wasn't until the person whom I was with, the lady, until she called the news media and got them involved, that the officer finally started to cooperate. After he first dropped me off at the station, first got there, he left and said that he was done for the day. So he was going home, he was going to sit back and have a nice meal. And he was going to complete his paperwork on the next day. But that didn't last too long, because as soon as the news media got involved, Mr. John Parker of WABT, he was on speakerphone during most of the exchange with the other person, the other young lady, and the officer. And he inquired about what was going on and what happened. And Officer Simmons blatantly lied to Mr. Parker. Told Mr. Parker that he had not arrested anyone, that he had not pulled anyone over in Chula, and that he had not towed anyone's car. In which time Mr. Parker reminded him that he was, or informed him that he was on the phone for much of the entire time that the young lady was talking to him and questioning him, asking him questions. So at this time, Mr. Simmons came back to the police station, and then he then proceeded to complete his paperwork and complete the paperwork in order for me to get out and to bond out. He also lifted the hole off her car because she could not receive her car because it was towed, and she was left on the side of the, she was left in the parking lot with some of her luggage there to fend for herself and to try to get a ride on her own, because she would not ride with the officer because she was afraid for her life, seeing the aggression in which she exhibited at just a simple so-called speeding traffic stop. So after the media got involved, he became very cooperative. He completed his affidavits. He completed whatever reports he had to complete in order for me to post bond. He released her car off of whatever hold he had on her car, keeping her from paying the fee and getting her car. And he became very compliant once the media got involved. But thank you for watching. Again, I hope you have understood what you have seen here, and that I just want you to know that you know, you have rights as a person. There are certain things that police officers cannot do to you. I would not suggest that you take the course of action which I did, because everyone might not have the resources or the knowledge to endure such things. I did so because as long as, you know, I did so because as long as this is allowed to go on, people will continue happening to people. And I know you might say, oh, well, if you had to just comply with officers, if you had to just gotten out the car, this never would have happened. Which is true. It's totally true. But also, this officer would have been allowed to continue this type of behavior with other people. And there is no telling how many people he has already exhibited this behavior with. So, of course, I could have gotten out and I could have went home and everything would have been fine. But I'm not worried about my being comfortable so much as I was worried about other people who would experience this. So I sacrificed my time, my money, and my being comfortable in order to show how officers react. Some officers react when they don't know the law, or when they are not enforcing the law in which they want to protect. You know, I wanted to show that so that other people would not have to go through this. So also, I could have complied. It just would have been sweeping things on the rug. And I'm not a sweep things on the rug type of guy. So I hope this video has helped someone know your rights, know what they can and cannot do to you. But I would not suggest that you take this course of action. I am a professional, and I know exactly what's going on and how to deal with these type of situations. So anyone else, I would suggest that you do what the officer tells you, even though it does violate your rights. Do what the officer tells you and try to record everything. I always document everything, and just win in court or whatever. I would not suggest that you try this yourself. And just as a disclaimer, I would also like to say that I have that this does not reflect the entire Mississippi State Highway Patrol or law enforcement as a whole. And I have the utmost respect for any type of law enforcement. My father was a law enforcement officer for over 20 years. But I do also have the utmost disdain for officers who use their power to take advantage of people, who abuse their power because they can, because it gives them some type of feeling of authority over someone. I have the utmost disdain for those officers who abuse the power in which they swore an oath to protect and enforce. Thank you for your time.